Hello everyone and welcome to the beautiful Kinnaur Valley. We are here amidst the apple orchards of Himachal Pradesh with the beautiful MG ZS EV. Now a lot of you might question that I've had a very compromised relationship with the brand in the past. Why pick this car up again? Now I've heard quite a lot of good reviews about it and I was yearning to get behind the wheel of one and not just drive it briefly, but do a proper RaceMonkey road test. Bring it 450 kilometers away from the city to this beautiful little hamlet where we have apple orchards around, where we do require something which is quiet and has zero emissions. So without further ado, let's head on to this trail where we will be exploring around the apple orchards, show you some beautiful parts of this hamlet and see if the MG ZS EV does a great job in going up and down this steep hill. So let's get inside and talk you through it. Although this isn't the apple season quite yet, but it is a beautiful sight altogether. Narkanda and the areas around get some of the finest apples during the month of August and September. The harvest season starts in September, where you get the best variety of apples, which is delicious, royal, and the golden variety, which basically is a green apple. And this is the time when you should come to a place like this and find a nice activity with your friends and family of plucking these beautiful and juicy apples. Now what is also looking like an apple is this MG ZS EV. Now, to start off with, let me clear you all the inhibitions about this particular product. The ZS EV was built for the European markets. The Hector wasn't, the Gloucester wasn't, the MG ZS EV is. And so the quality of each and everything, the fit and finish, the way it rides, the way it handles all these twisties, especially with this battery pack, which is quite heavy and creates a good center of gravity. It's pretty brilliant. You don't feel like you're driving any other MG car, which might feel a little haywardly, might feel a little... You do feel that you're driving a solid car. It doesn't feel very flimsy like some other electric vehicles might. Feels properly built. Now the MG ZS EV makes quite a lot of sense to bring up here in the mountains. A, you're not harming the environment with the pollution that you might be spewing out of the exhaust. B, it's quiet, so the wildlife does not get affected. C, it's very cost effective, especially here in Himachal Pradesh, where there are multiple charging stations all across. Statiq India has put up, Lion Charge has put up, and there are a few other government entities which have installed charging infrastructure within different parts of Himachal Pradesh. Even here in Narkanda, there is a charging station. There are multiple in Shimla, there are multiple in Kasauli. So the inhibition of having an electric car and going up to these places and losing out on charge and not being able to charge your car has diminished quite a lot. Yes, there would be quite a lot of range anxiety while you're going up the hill. You have to be very careful with your right foot. But at the same time, the reward that you get back in terms of, zero tailpipe emissions and cost effectiveness. And a lot of you might be questioning, hey, this is 1.5 times more expensive than its petrol counterpart. What makes it so special? I mean, if you look at the overall ownership experience, electric cars actually are very sensible. From Delhi till Kasauli and from Kasauli till Narkanda, I spent 450 rupees just to charge my car. And that I did with 3 passengers, which is quite brilliant. That means I spent 130 bucks for 3 passengers and their luggage from Delhi till Narkanda, which is about 450 kilometers, which is cheaper than taking the local bus, which is non-air conditioned, has a lot of people, not as comfortable. So taking an EV out of these adventures is pretty brilliant. Now what also adds up to that is the instant torque that is available, which is very helpful while you're going up the hill. It's a single gear gearbox. There are no changes in the gear. There is no loss of power. So it's a win-win situation. Take your EVs out on an adventure. The suspension of this 2022 update of the ZS EV has been calibrated a little bit. Now, the suspension used to feel a little more floaty, of course comfortable, but with this update, they have made it a little stiffer, which does help quite a lot in driving through these twisty back roads of Narkanda. Now, the roads are pretty narrow. There are certain small portholes and breakers in between. Now, you do hear the suspension crashing into these little portholes when you're doing slower speeds, but it does not filter in physically into your body. You don't feel them as much as you hear them. And that's something that I can live with. And the craters and other undulations on the road are more audible because there is no engine. It's completely silent. It's an absolute event driving this car on these absolutely wonderful roads of Kinnaur. On these twisties, this LSEV is quite a potent car, and we are going up the hill back to our homestay, and it's quite a steep uphill. So luckily it's a front wheel drive and we have quite a lot of weight biased to the rear end, which makes it a very blissful experience. Now the traction systems calibrated on the ZS EV are as per the European standards, and oh boy, even on these slightly gravel infested terrain, the roads are not exactly smooth. These are B roads, and B roads in India are very rough, to be honest. But even if I'm cornering it hard, it barely has that understeer effect. Quite a blissful drive. Now all you have to make sure is that you honk and you tell the other person on the other side who might be coming from the opposite side of you that you're arriving, that you're approaching at quite a high speed. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Look at those apple orchards, man. Let's just stop and take a nice sight of these apple orchards and probably have a cup of chai. we've reached static charge at Jubli, which is in Kasauli. Start off with the charging, select what you want to charge, CCS, start. Use your phone to authenticate this charger. I think we are in. The car's plugged in now. So we are done with charging. We are at 100% charge. Say stop. And we're done. So just pull out the charger. Shut these things. We will reset the trip now. So we've reset the trip computer. We are at 6,761 kilometers on the odometer. Eco range says 338 kilometers, 322 on normal. Let's see how much range can we extract at max with 100% battery. Right then, we're back home. That's the I-20 line parked over there. We charged the MG ZS EV to full at Jubli in Himachal Pradesh. Ever since, we've done 281 kilometers with a driving time of around 5 hours 13 minutes, averaging 54 kilometers to the hour, which includes uphill, downhill sections and highway plus traffic at Delhi border. We were averaging 9.2 kilometers for every kilowatt hour used, which is incredible because I still have 149 kilometers of range left at 37% battery. That translates to 430 kilometers of total range, which is incredible. And mind you, I had 3 people on board and 5 bags in the boot with tons of fruits as well that we shot for. Quite a brilliant experience.
So then, the new MG ZS EV is quite a sensible car. It looks good, it drives well, it's very comfortable, and if you do your maths right, it's quite an economical car to own. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Instagram for more car content.